Okay, so there are three different levels of email security. You've got Exchange Online Protection, which is your basic standard settings. That includes anti-phishing, anti-spam, and anti-malware. Then you've got two paid plans. You've got Defender for Office Plan 1 and Plan 2. Plan 1 includes things like impersonation, safe links and safe attachments, and Plan 2 includes all of Exchange Online Protection and Plan 1, and includes some hunting and analysis options as well. Let's get started. We'll go with anti-phishing first, since that's at the top of the list, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we are. We are back in the tent. So we're going to go to Show All and down to Security. Then we want to go to Email and Collaboration, Policies and Rules, and then we want to go to Threat Policies. Now, as you can see, because I've got a Microsoft E5 license, I've got access to the safe attachments and the safe links, and under anti-phishing policies, I'll also have access to the anti-impersonation settings as well. If you don't have a Defender for Office Plan 1 or 2, when you come to this page, you won't see safe attachments and you won't see safe links. So that's something to bear in mind when you're watching this video. So we're going to start with anti-phishing and we're going to work our way down. Actually, we're going to start with quarantine policy. So let's go to add a custom policy. I'm going to call it Baldy's IT users. Click next. Now, here you've got two options. You can either set it as limited access, and this is what it gives the recipients access to. So they can preview messages, they can request message releases, delete messages and allow senders, but they can't release messages from quarantine on their own. Or you can set it so that you can allow specific access. So from here we can allow so that users can release messages, we can allow them to delete, preview and block senders, and we can also allow. Click next. I'm going to say enable, and let's leave it as don't include. Click submit. Done. Right, so that's the policy setup. Under global settings, you can customize the notification email. So by default, it will have Microsoft branding and everything else. You can set it to come from a specific sender address. You can give it a different email, subject, disclaimer, etc. You can choose the language, and what we want is down here. You can also give it your company logo if you've got the logo uploaded, but this is what we're after. So I'm going to set it to within 4 hours, because in the industry that I work in, users get very upset if they don't get notified very quickly that they've got quarantined emails. So rather than once a day, I'm going to set it to within 4 hours. Click save. But that setting is completely up to you as to how you would want to set it. So now we've done that, we can go back to threat policies, and then we're going to look at anti-phishing. Now the standard policy is turned off and the default one is on. We're going to create a custom one, and I'm going to call it GJ Anti-Phish. You can give it a description if you want. Click next. And here you can add specific users, groups, or domains if you want. There is no limit on the number of policies you could have, so you could have a different policy and settings for different domains, different groups, or different users if you want. But we're just going to set one policy for the domain because we don't really have that many people. So let's do that. And I'm also going to include the on Microsoft one. Click next. Now here it's probably better off, you're probably better off staying on level 1 to start with and going from there, purely because when you change this, it affects how aggressive the anti-phishing is. So it treats on standard, it treats each level as its own, but once you start going up to level 2, then high is treated the same as very high confidence, and it gets much stricter. It gets a lot more stricter the further you go along. So that's something to bear in mind. Here we've got the anti-impersonation. So we're going to enable that, and we're going to click on Add Users. So let me go here. Click Add. There you go. So for this one, as you can see, you've got a limit of 350 users that you can add. So each policy, if you've got more than 350 users and you wanted to have everyone in here, you'd have to create multiple policies. So we're going to enable it for the domains as well. So I'm going to tick domains that I own, and I'm also going to add in the custom domain. That. So here is where you can add the trusted senders, so they don't get flagged as impersonated if they're attacked. So if you've got, so you can add in senders, and you can also choose to add in domains. We are going to enable the intelligence for impersonation protection, and that is it for the anti-phishing. Then we've got how we want to set up the quarantine policies for the different emails. I'm gonna have everything go to quarantine, but again, it's up to you. You may decide you want them to go to, you may want some emails to go to users' junk folders. Others you may decide you want to go to quarantine. You may even decide you want them to go to only an IT mailbox. So that's fine. For DMARC policies, reject, I'm going to leave that the same. And same for spoof intelligence, I'm going to leave that as it is. And I'm going to turn on these safety tips as well. They're always handy for users, and that is the policy set up. Okay, so we've done with the anti-phishing. We're going to do the anti-spam next. Now, if you find this video useful, please hit the like and subscribe button. It'll help the channel grow, and I will be eternally grateful. Thank you. Back to threat policies. Anti-spam. Now you have got defaults. You could go and edit these if you want, but for the defaults, it's probably better. You're better off creating separate ones. So I'm just going to call this inbound. Click next. For domains, I'm just going to add in the usual. Now here you've got different options. Default is 7. The further to the left it goes, the bar goes, the tighter it's going to get for allowing spam through. Now, To start with, you're always advised to start on the default setting and then go more strict as you go along. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I wouldn't really change much in here except for maybe, where is it? SPF record hard fail. I'd probably turn that on. By all means, you can go in and edit these and turn them on. You can set them to test if you like. It's up to you. But for that is probably the only thing that I'm going to change. Click next. And again, for spam, it's up to you how you want the emails to be handled. I'm going to have everything go to quarantine. Retain spam in quarantine. Number of days is default is 15. It is recommended to maybe have 30 days. That way it allows users, maybe if they've gone on leave or anything, they can come back and have time to actually see the spam if they're away for a few weeks. But again, that's completely up to you. I'm going to set that to 30. I'm going to click next, next, great, and that's the anti-spam done. And as you can see, it's now turned on, and that takes precedence over the default ones. So there is a anti-spam outbound, which if you've got marketing people and they send bulk emails, you may want to edit this, otherwise you will restrict them. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. And that's it for the anti-spam filters. Okay, the next is anti-malware. So let's get on to that video. Also, if you stay till the end of the video, you will actually find that I'll be including a bit of information that I don't see anyone else ever mentioning. So it might be worthwhile sticking around for that. So then we're going to go to anti-malware. And again, we are going to create a new policy. Click next. I'm going to add the domains in. Now then, here you're able to select what attachments are blocked. So you can click on select file types, and as you'll see from the pop-up, you've got a lot of attachments already added, which will get flagged and blocked. Now it's up to you if you've got developers or any teams that require specific attachments to be allowed through. You could create a policy specifically for them and remove the attachments. Likewise, if there's more attachments you want to add in, you can just go up to the top and add them in there. And then click add and it'll add it to the list. Just make sure to click on done when you're finished. What do we want to do when the file types are found? I'm going to leave it as reject the emails. So again, that's up to you, whether you want that to happen or not. Now you've got enable 0-hour auto purge. This is, I've seen this work and it's a very handy tool. If an email gets through with an attachment, then if Microsoft goes back later on and then realizes that the attachment is actually a bad one, it will just automatically remove it from the mailbox if this setting is turned on. It doesn't leave it there, it will remove it. And in the security center, it will actually show that the message was removed because of the 0-hour auto purge. So we're going to leave that as is. We're going to leave it as admin. I'm not going to change that. You can set up notifications to go to admin for internal and external users. So that, and you can add custom text as well for the notification. But other than that, click next and submit. Okay, so the next one is safe attachments. As I've said previously, you will need Defender for Office Plan 1 at least to be able to do this. Then we've got safe attachments. You can give the policies whatever names you want. I'm just making it quite simple. So let's add the domains in. Obviously, if you're setting up multiple policies, then you may want to add descriptions so that anyone who goes in after you can actually see what the policies are actually for and what they're doing. Click next. Here you've got a few different options for safe attachments. What will happen is, depending on what you set, an email will come in with an attachment. Now, if it's off, nothing will happen, it will just go straight through. If you monitor it, the email will still go through with the attachment, but it's just tracked. So it's a bit of a weird one why you would allow that. Block, again, that one is fairly straightforward. If it detects it, it'll block it. And you've got this one, dynamic delivery. This one allows the recipient to receive the email while the attachment itself is actually sandboxed and scanned. So if the attachment is then detected as being malware, it removes it. The user can't access it. They can go to an admin and request the email to be released, but that's the only way. I quite like this. It allows the email still to get delivered on time, and while the user's looking at the email, that allows Microsoft in the back end to actually do the scan for the attachment. So I'm going to leave it as that. And that is the only thing that I'm going to change on that one. Click next, submit, done. Okay, and the next option is safe attachments. As you'll see in the video, I don't really change anything other than an option at the bottom, which is to do with allowing users to go through to original links. Other than that, I don't really change anything. The final one is safe links. So safe links will, like safe attachments, when an email comes in with a link, that link is checked by Microsoft to make sure that it's legitimate and that it's okay. If it's not, then the user won't get through to the link. So let me just put this in. Next. Right, so on this screen, I won't change anything. It's all turned on, it's all good. The only thing I'm going to turn off is this. So let users click through to original URL. That's the only thing I'm turning off. It's actually something that Microsoft recommend to have turned off as well. Now you can add URLs in here if you have links coming through that are getting rewritten that are breaking. So sometimes Zoom links, Zoom meeting links will come through. When Safe Links rewrites the email or the link, it will break it sometimes. So it's worth adding maybe the Zoom URL in there. Sometimes Teams as well. Sometimes Teams meeting links get broken from the stuff that I've seen. So for some clients, we've had to add in the Teams URL. Click next. I'm just going to leave it as default notification. Click next and then submit. There we go. Click done. Okay, and the final bit of information that I'm going to share in this video is to do with priority accounts. Now, to get there, you're already in Defender, in the Defender portal. So on the blade on the left, go down to the bottom to settings. You then want to go to email and collaboration, and you'll see there's a option for priority accounts. I'll leave a description I'll leave a link in the description below, so you can go off and have a read and see if that's worthwhile for some of you to do. But I'll show you how to set it up in the video now. Okay, so we're in the Microsoft Defender Admin Center. We're going to go down to System, and then settings, and then email and collaboration. Now here you can set different tags for different groups of users. I'm just going to leave it with the priority account tag, which is default, that's already set. And then I'm going to click edit. And in here is where you add the accounts that you want to have priority accounts. So I'm going to click on that one, and I'm just going to leave it as that. You can add in here groups as well if you've got groups, but I'm just going to do one user. Click add, click next, click submit. And that's how you add a user to the priority tag list. Click done, and then what you want to do, it should be on by default, but go to priority account protection and make sure it's turned on. While you're in here as well, you can also make sure that Microsoft Teams protection is also turned on. It should be by default. If you want to know what the priority account protection does, there's a link here. I'll add that to the bottom of the description. And this basically tells you what extra bits of protection it provides.